tutti ragazzi e bentornati a un nuovo episodio di The End of Glory. Dunque l'ultima volta eravamo arrivati qui in questo casino con questa bestia che ci stava attaccando. Dobbiamo salvare il povero Oliviero. Vediamo che esce fuori. Bestia. La Madonna.
Interesting reaction.
Oliviero.
Olive, can you run towards Tekla? He was still confused and suffering from the blow.
Ok, Tecla. Hai qualche idea per venire fuori da questa
Have you
situazione?
got any ideas for getting out of this situation?
I'm afraid normal hunting techniques won't work with this monster. We need to observe its behavior, study it for a while, and find its weak spots.
I notice that it never takes its eyes off of me.
It must be attracted to bright colors. Maybe it's your scarf that draws its attention.
My scarf, huh? I'll keep that in mind.
È che è un toro. Tech, sparagli un
Shoot a
tranquillante.
tranquilizer.
It could be dangerous. Are you sure?
Dobbiamo tentare, non usciremo mai vivi da questo dirupo. Proviamo.
Gotta try or we'll never.
Niente, lo sapevo che finiva male. Allora, riproviamo. Tento di inventarmi qualcosa. Allora, vediamo cosa si illumina.
The oak was
Quercia.
huge, and Olive was leaning against it, trapped. If it
Roccia.
wasn't for that rock, I would have been found out in the open, a victim of that growling monster.
C'è altro che si illumina? No. Cosa possiamo utilizzare? La sciarpa sulla roccia.
Tekla, I have an idea. As soon as the beast is distracted, runs towards Olive and get him to shelter.
Whenever you're ready, cretin.
Vediamo se facciamo una brutta fine pure così. Ah no, vabbè, abbastanza rincoglionito. Sembra Pumba.
Olive was finally safe. One step at a time, and we might make it.
Curious.
What are you talking about?
Why doesn't the beast charge you? It was distracted by Oliviero before. But now?
I guess its aim isn't so much to hurt us as to protect something.
A guard animal. The behavior matches. It doesn't want to be led away from the area it has to protect, but it attacks as soon as someone steps on it.
This leads us to two conclusions. The first is that we're in the right spot, and what we're looking for is right at the foot of the oak. Well, the second is very worrying. We have to get rid of that beast if we want to dig.
Allora, se andiamo verso la quercia, questo ci si incula, immagino, no? E se spariamo adesso il tranquillante? Vediamo un po'.
Shoot a tranquilizer.
It could be dangerous. Are you sure?
Prova, tanto mo non c'è
Gotta
nessuno.
try. It looks even more furious than before.
After a shot with this narcotic? No. It should have felt this one. Big time. Enough to slow it down, at least.
That's something. But now you have to take Olive and get him out of here.
Can you handle things alone?
Defeating a raging monster with a scarf. Ah, it's a piece of cake for Lazarus Bundy.
I have to admit, cretin, I underestimated you.
Alone again to face death. After all, I've carried it inside me for months now, and I've grown accustomed to the feeling.
Ok, quindi cosa possiamo fare adesso contro questa bestia? Spruzzino con acido magari no, però l'anestetico sì. Vai a fare una puntura, mo, che ce l'ho?
It wasn't a bad idea, but I couldn't throw it.
No. No, aspetta, non volevo che andai verso la quercia, perché questa cosa?
It
Fai
wasn't.
così? Niente. Allora, dobbiamo fare questa cosa qui, in modo però che non ci ammazzi. Manubrio. Possiamo fare tipo
In that
cerbottana?
moment, it didn't seem to be all I had left of my poor green gun.
Ah, della Grindart è rimasto solo il manubrio, ho capito, poraccio. Magnete spezzato sul manubrio, magnete spezzato sulla
Better.
siringa. La
No
siringa
matter how
qua.
hard I try.
Allora, cosa si illumina altro? Allora, se faccio così con la bestia, questa si infuria. E vabbè,
If it wasn't for that
roccia.
rock, I would have been found out.
Se non fosse stato per la roccia, non è che abbiamo molta altra scelta, onestamente. Spruzzino con acido
I
sulla
thought it was better to
quercia,
look for an...
sulla
I was all
roccia.
out of ideas.
Sì, ero a corto di idee, concordo tantissimo. Siringa con anestetico. Facciamo scivolare
Sometimes
questo?
my obsession with... I was all out of...
No. Come facciamo a fare la siringa sull'animale? E il manubrio a che
I
serve?
thought it was better to look for... No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't see a good reason to do that.
A meno che scivola sul manubrio.
I thought it was better to...
Allora, l'orchidea sulla
Sometimes
roccia.
my obsession with using random items didn't lead anywhere.
Perché vorrei farla avvicinare alla roccia e poi facciamo una siringata, insomma.
Sometimes it wasn't a bad idea, but
Non potevo lanciargliela contro, io sono d'accordo con te, Lazarus. Però spostando la roccia lui mi fa fare in verità qualcosa. Se ci spostiamo qua, non mi prende subito. E ho tempo di fare altro. Spostati. Ok. Così ha dato una craniata. Ah, ok, però si è ripreso.
despite the dose of tranquilizer and the headbutt, the monster was still standing.
Però sono scese queste ghiande. Ok, con le
4
ghiande.
acorns fell from the oak. If worst came to worst, I'd have something to eat at least.
Le ghiande te possiamo tirare alla bestia? Così si distrae? E se mettiamo
The
l'anestetico
needle
nelle
couldn't penetrate the
ghiande?
acorn.
Ah, non riusciva a penetrare. Però se con l'acido...
I thought it was better to look for another salute.
No, dobbiamo trovare un modo per schiacciare queste ghiande sulla roccia, ok? È sensata come cosa,
That was a
questo
really great
così.
plan.
Perfetto. E infine, Ciccio, mangia di
The last
questa.
chance to knock that animal out. There were moments of agonizing waiting.
Dai, anche questa è fatta. Yes!
I saw the helicopter vanishing in the distance, in the direction of San Leo. Surely Olive would be fine.
Ok, siamo rimasti soli. Oh cacchio, si è ripreso? È mortale?
I couldn't say the same for me. The beast seemed determined to charge, and yet it resisted. Maybe after the previous blow it had learned to fear me.
Che posso fare, bestia? Non c'era niente potevamo fare. Se ci spostiamo di sotto, però questa casca di sotto, poverina. L'acido, madonna, mi pare esagerato. Capito? Ma tua vita mea, però. Aspetta, una certa è arrivata una corda qua. Forse dobbiamo aspettare che arrivi la corda. Sarà l'elicottero che ci sta salvando, probabilmente. Ecco la corda. Corri, corri, corri. Povero, però. Addirittura casca di sotto, dai.
Hey, Cretin, would you ever have believed that forgetting a shovel would save your life?
I got rid of that beast in an almost miraculous way. Still amped on adrenaline, I started digging the ground at the foot of the marked tree.
Ok,
Finally,
perfetto.
right before my eyes was
Il
the
conte
coffin
di
where Count
Cagliostro
Cagliostro
riposava
had
qui da
rested for
secoli.
centuries. The weight of history crushed me like an insect.
Allora,
A bit
bara.
intimidated by what I might find inside the coffin, I tried to move the lid.
Ah, ok,
There's
pensavo
no
non ci
trace of
riuscivo.
Cagliostro's body. Centuries have passed, but not so many to justify the absence of any
No,
remains.
infatti.
After the initial shock, I noticed another detail. The coffin was completely
Totalmente
made of
d'oro.
gold.
Braccialetto.
As
E
soon
questo
as I picked up the
dobbiamo.
bracelet, the wood on which it had rested for centuries started to react. I'd witnessed plenty of strange things in those days, but this time I was speechless. What kind of power did that tiny object possess? Did it turn everything it touched into wood? While I prayed not to end up like Pinocchio, I was warned by my sixth sense. I felt that there was something else to find inside that coffin.
Cioè, praticamente invece di trasformare tipo Remida le cose in oro, questo oggetto le trasforma in legno? Strano.
I carefully looked at the
Parete.
wall, but I didn't find anything useful.
Nulla di utile.
To the
Parete qua.
touch, I thought I felt a tiny
Una
crack.
minuscola fessura.
It was too regular to be random.
Troppo regolare per essere un caso. Sono d'accordo con te. Però non è che ci abbiamo grandi cose da poterci mettere dentro. Ma questo bracciale che abbiamo preso perché qua non appare, scusate. Boh, l'orchidea.
I was all out of ideas.
Sì, sono d'accordo, sono sempre a corto di idee.
It was too regular to.
È troppo regolare. Eh sì. No, aspetta. Non c'è un modo per tornare indietro? Non c'è assolutamente modo per tornare indietro? No, torna al gioco.
It was too regular.
Non mi fa uscire da questa visuale, quindi per forza dovremo fare qualcosa.
I
Il
was all out of.
balsamo, le chiavi.
I never figured out what the second key someone made me find in Miami was for. Was it possible
Ah
that
sì? Davvero?
all that
Oh!
time I'd gone walkabout with a centuries-old heirloom in my
No,
pocket?
infatti non si era capita sta cosa.
The secret alcove was
Medaglione.
hiding a medallion with an engraved symbol that resembled a
Un
pentacle.
pentagolo.
I'd seen many of them at crime scenes, but that medallion was slightly different. Plus, it emitted strange vibrations, similar to those of the mirror found on the Site Lalique. Whatever its meaning, that was the object I needed to find.
I must ask you to turn around without
Oh, oh.
making any sudden moves, please.
Father Carlo!
Padre Carlo? Non
I
me
can't believe
l'aspettavo.
So you're involved in all this as well?
Please, don't blame me for this. I have been forced to do everything they ordered me to do. Do you think I'm proud of my actions? That I'm glad to have contributed to the murders of poor innocent souls? I had to
Ma
deny
infatti
my faith.
vergognate.
Then why? You could refuse to cooperate.
My sister Marie keeps Professor Visconti under control for them through the use of drugs and infusions. But they keep an eye on her in the meantime as well. If I backed out of this, they would have killed her after inflicting unspeakable torture. They're masters of mental manipulation, and I...
You're a perfect example of that. I bet you weren't so confused before.
I must not waste time. You have to give me what you discovered inside Cagliostro's coffin. Right now.
I understand. At this point, I don't think I have any other choice. Why do they want this bracelet? What are they trying to do?
The bracelet is able to stop their plans, and they don't want the risk. They desperately looked for it for centuries, slowed down by the disappearance of the scrolls, and that filthy beast left as guard by the Polish soldiers.
They can stop their plans. So there's a hope. You gotta help me. Together we...
You still don't understand. They're in my head, constantly talking, sneaking in thoughts that are not mine. I can hear them even now. Shoot, Carlo. Shoot now.
Sparagli
Shoot.
Carlo, sparagli ora. Dopo un colpo,
I'm
sparagli
sorry.
ancora. Ma siamo morti così? Nemico inaspettato. Sì, infatti non me l'aspettavo. Colpo di
When I
scena.
woke up, I instantly recognized where I was. Carlo left me for dead, rotting inside Cagliostro's coffin. The next thought was that I was still alive. I clearly heard the bullet whistling past my ear, missing me.
Vabbè,
by
Carlo,
only a
c'è una
few
mira de
inches.
merda,
After
però.
all, Carlo certainly wasn't a trained killer, and he didn't realize I was knocked unconscious by the hit on my head, not by the shot. My first instinct was to start shouting like crazy, but the little air I had left was too precious to waste like that. The shortage of oxygen was also the reason I couldn't wait for Tekla to come back. I had to move.
Ma come ci ha chiuso? Che ci ha messo qua sopra questo? Mica ho capito. Un plexiglass, cos'è? Sei molto vivo, vuoi uscire da qui? Infatti non è bella come cosa, coperchio.
Carlo must have replaced the old time-worn nails with some brand new ones. The lid didn't move an inch.
Ok, però noi abbiamo questo
That
spruzzino
was
con
a
acido.
really good idea.
Direi proprio di sì.
I hope suffered a tough blow. The spray bottle spewed only air, and not the liquid squirt I expected.
È finito?
I looked at the device and realized what the problem was. I was forced to use it at a very specific angle inside the coffin, and the straw wasn't able to catch the few drops
non
of
riesci
fluid remaining.
a
I tried
farlo
every possible
storcere un
position,
po'?
but was too restricted in my movements.
No, di questo dentro. Non riesci a farlo storcere un
I only had a way to
pochettino.
direct the straw towards the few drops of liquid
Esatto.
remaining. I'd have gotten out of there in a split
Non la
second.
puoi storcere un pochettino, spruzzino. Non abbiamo modo. Col manubrio?
Maybe. Or maybe not.
No.
I graded
Con il
the
magnete?
magnet wasn't powerful enough to move the straw from the outside, and it was too big to fit into the container.
Ok, quindi potrebbe andare
I
bene
graded the
questa
root, obtaining the
cosa.
fine
E
licorice.
non rompete le palle. Però dobbiamo farlo diventare più piccolo?
Maybe.
Forse sì o forse no.
Sometimes, all I had left of my...
Allora, che altro si illumina? Qua la parete. Nicchia.
Pressing it firmly, the compartment snapped closed.
Di scatto con la forza. Ah, perfetto. Quindi non era soltanto un tappo qui, tipo porta, ma schiaccia veramente tutto. Ok, ottimo. Polvere
It
magnetica
was
con lo
my get out of jail
spruzzino.
free card from that suffocating prison.
Mamma mia, manco MacGyver.
Air. Oh, I can't believe it. Did I really get out of that hole unharmed?
After all the obstacles you've overcome, you still doubt your skills?
E chi è?
How did you find me?
It wasn't him who found you.
Alice.
All right. Now I'm even more confused than ever.
I told you I would go to Rome, and I must say, I got there just in time.
I already thanked you for saving me, but now we demand some answers.
What is your actual role? And why did you drag me into this madness?
My role is to ensure that events follow the established course, as predicted by the Grand Master of the order to which I belong.
A cult of fanatics.
Galilei, Bach, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Newton, and many others. Do you really want to define them as fanatics?
How should we define them then?
Brothers, appointed to remove the veil of ignorance from the eyes of fools, to push society towards progress, transmuting this world from vile lead to noble gold. United under the symbol of the rose and the cross.
The rose and the cross again. I'd come across them many times during my investigation, and now that I think about it, Duke Ravendish's company was renamed Fallen Rose.
The Ravendish family has always belonged to us, but the Duke was lost. You contributed to bringing him back to us, to his rightful place. The Fallen Rose, or more accurately, the Rosa Defecta, is nothing more than an abomination, founded by Radwed after he betrayed his faith against us. A twin cult that shares the same ideals, but which, in fact, promotes only self-interest rather than the good of humankind. For centuries, they've been searching for Cagliostro. Fortunately, the Count's grave was discovered by our adepts, the Polish soldiers you tracked down. Radwed and his men hunted and exterminated them, but the scrolls were already safe, hidden, until now.
Wait, are you actually telling me that Radwed was already alive in 1795?
He went by the name Edward at the time. Now show me the lost seal.
Ci possiamo fidare?
That is the Sigillum Emeth.
The last still active seal, created by the Grand Master Cagliostro, before he was framed by the conspiracy of the Inquisition and that fraud Balsamo. The only defense you'll have against Radwed and his Hand of Glory.
An artifact with unlimited power, used in the past to unleash the fury of the seas and destroy an entire fleet, the Invincible Armada.
Dee realized he had raised forces he couldn't control and destroyed it. But just think what an individual like Radwed might engineer in possession of such power.
I still don't understand how the baby's kidnapping fits into all this.
No, infatti.
We were sure Radwed would use the flesh of the unborn, ripped from the suffering mother, to produce the Hand of Glory. But he must have found another way.
I read that the hand can also be created using the fat of a hanged man who died in hatred.
Molsberg oozed hate from every pore. The little dots are starting to connect, but there's something else. In Cagliostro's coffin, I found a golden bracelet shaped like a snake. Now, Carlo knew about its existence, and he demanded me to give it to him.
Cagliostro was the bearer of our initiation secrets, and he knew that sooner or later someone would try to bring back the Hand of Glory. Consequently, he created the sigillium as a shield, and the bracelet as a sword.
Are you saying the bracelet is capable of blocking the hand's powers?
That's why the wood of the coffin turned to gold when I removed the bracelet. The ornament had blocked the transformation process. Well, perfect.
What? You just said you had to turn it over to Father Carlo.
No, gli hai
I
dato
threw
quello
him
finto.
a bracelet.
Esatto.
The same one used by Alice to track me down and bring you here, I suppose.
The tracking bracelet.
That thing had been eroded by brackish water, traveled halfway around the world, and had even spent a few hours tied to the tailpipe of a vintage car. It looked like an antique piece at that point. The fact that Carlo isn't exactly a smart guy helped as well.
Surprising. Really surprising. I knew I'd chosen well.
Chosen? For what?
Every master is obliged to personally select the new members of the Order. You're bright, resolute, and at your best, you'd be a valid ally.
But above all, I'm blackmailable.
What are you talking about?
You can't deny you felt very good after you inhaled my gas. Stronger, more vigorous, your lungs saturated with clean air.
Wait, you...
I can make this effect permanent. My initiation gift to you, if you'll choose to join us.
Lars.
Alice, you said the doctor saved you in Rome. How?
He claims that Marie wanted to kill me overnight, so...
So he put her to rest. And that's not all. You knew where Catherine and the kid were from the beginning. You delivered the picture that led us to Radwood's factory, and gave me the clues to solve the map on the Site Lalique. You knew everything. And yet you preferred pursuing this crazy quest, rather than stopping Radwood.
Radwood is not an enemy we can face alone. He
knows all your dirty tricks.
I'd like you to reflect well before refusing such an offer. I won't give you a second chance.
Lars, if he can really...
Let's go, Alice.
So be it. May the rose and the cross guide the last actions you'll take in your existence.
E niente, quindi giustamente preferisce fare una morte dignitosa, diciamo, il nostro Lars. Le piccole cose abbiamo sbloccato. Oh, ma vedi? Alla fine è andata col fiore.
Little things, right? See you soon, Lazaro.
«20 novembre, Inghilterra».
Oh, here you are, finally.
Apologies. I went to freshen up and change my clothes.
But you've always worn the same clothes since this whole story started.
You think it was easy to find a short-sleeve coat with a hole for letting the scarf pass through? I had to order a supply of
Il
them.
buco per
Besides,
passare
you
la
also...
sciarpa.
Ah, nothing. You look nice, you know?
Anyway, I have bad news. Radwood and his men must have discovered your deception and disabled the tracking bracelet. We know they reached West Rotfield, then nothing.
So, are we stuck?
Not really. Do you remember the doctor's references to the rose and the cross? I started researching the territory using the two terms as keywords, and I almost immediately got feedback. Of course, the source is not exactly reliable. We're talking about conspiracy websites.
Are you referring to Wheelo's blog?
No, a guy named Rupert Saucer, the classic zealot who lives in a trailer isolated from the world. I would usually rule out such a result, but in this case, Saucer claims that in an exclusive local cemetery, the King Lyrie, an ancient Rosicrucian temple, is hidden.
Rosicrucian? Is that the name of the doctor's sect?
The information I found refers to a group of enlightened intellectuals of which very little is known. Guess who's listed among the alleged Grand Masters of the Order, though?
Count Cagliostro.
As you would say, bingo.
We'll have time later to investigate the Rosicrucian further, but for now we have to inspect the King Lyrie.
Wait. I think you should keep this.
The scrying mirror. Are you sure?
I don't feel like walking around with some cursed ancient artifact in my pocket. And now let's go.
E lasci l'IPC. Ma... Ma
So
scusa.
that was the place where it would all end. It made me miss the brackish air of Miami, or the shining sun of San Leo. Well, let's take a look.
Ok, quindi penso obiettivamente siamo al finale. Allora, che dice? Qui la traccia ci ha condotti in questo cimitero, ora dobbiamo individuare Rodwed.
Alice was
Alice.
changed, compared to when I met her behind that desk in Miami.
Beh, dopo tutto quello che ha passato pure lei. Croce.
I wondered if it was linked in any way to the Rosicrucian, but the lack of any iconography suggested the opposite.
Cassetta degli attrezzi.
Unfortunately, it was locked, and I couldn't see anything useful in the side compartment. Unfortunately,
Ah, va bene. Lapide.
that tombstone had to be a work in progress, judging by the adjacent toolbox and the absence of any engravings.
Cooper. Qui c'è quarto cartello. Niente zombie? Vietato ingresso degli zombie?
No zombification. There must have been a black humor lover around here, or at least, I hope that was the case.
Telecamera.
Graveyard was equipped with a surveillance system.
Ok, carro funebre.
The hearse was empty, so according to superstition, it wouldn't bring me any misfortune. Or is it the opposite?
No, era al contrario, quando è pieno. Cumulo di
Typical pile of
cenere.
ashes of an obsessive smoker. I had produced many of them throughout my years of addiction.
Becchino.
Alice, let's try to talk to the Undertaker.
Vediamo che dice il becchino.
Good morning.
This must be my lucky day. I haven't seen so many visitors for years.
I thought cemeteries received hundreds of people a day.
Not this one, Beefcake. Only a few people can afford to tread the precious pebbles of the King Larry.
Beefcake, huh? Well, she had better taste than she looked.
As a result, I'm stuck here alone all the livelong day.
Sai che
It's
palle.
deadly
Infatti.
boring. Do you get it?
Listen, we'd really like to chat with you, but we're in a rush. We're trying to find some crypts, ancient crypts to be precise.
Do you see that tree? Follow that path and you'll find them in front of you.
Thanks.
Hey, wait for me.
Ah, vedi che figo.
Wow. This cemetery's
Beh,
got
sì.
something about it.
The farther we
Molto bello il
proceed, it
disegno.
gradually becomes more ancient. What's wrong?
I
Oddio,
have good
ancora
news and
questi
bad
due.
news. Do you see those two near the crypt?
The blonde and the goon? Don't tell me that.
Yep, Eugene and Mama. Radwed's henchmen I faced in Miami.
Ouch.
Hey, relax. This guy's already handled them successfully a couple of times.
No, Lars, you're on my foot.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
And the good news?
Well, at least they saved us the trouble of searching for the crypt. It's surely the one they are guarding.
Beh, sì. Famo prima. Questo è proprio bello qua.
Entering will be
Gilligan.
more difficult than expected.
Fortunately, neither of them shines with acumen. With the right idea and a bit of luck, we can make it.
We have to find a way to distract them and open the crypt as fast as we can.
A two-phase plan. I like it.
It'll be quicker if we split the tasks. You take care of the crypt, I'll deal with those two.
You're crazy. I can't let you do it. Even if Mama looks like a pig with a wig, she has no scruples. And if she sees you...
Listen, they're forced to stay in the vicinity of the crypt, right? So if I keep my distance, I won't endanger myself. You go back to Quentin's pub and find a way to access the crypt. I'll try to push them as far as possible from the area. From intern to action hero in no time, right?
Alice,
Get out of here before I change my mind.
Sbrigate pure.
be careful, okay?
What's the big deal? Distracting two killers? Child's play.
E che ci va? Ok, quindi siamo di nuovo a Alice. Candela.
I'll leave such little thefts to Lars, unless it's strictly necessary.
Con lei abbiamo soltanto delle forbici. Foglie.
A bunch of dry and crispy leaves with the 1,000 colors of a European autumn.
Scala.
A good, solid ladder.
telo.
Maybe it'd be better not to poke around. They must have put it there for a reason, after all.
Possiamo tornare indietro di qua. E qui non c'è altro. Ok, quindi proviamo ad andare un attimo di qua
Better
senza
not
farci
tempt fate too
beccare.
much and stay away from those ruthless henchmen.
Va bene. Quindi, invece, spostati un attimo qua, vediamo un attimo. Il becchino dice qualcosa di utile?
Have you got a minute?
I have all day if you want.
Puoi darmi qualche informazione su questo
Can
cimitero?
you give me some...
The King Lyre is a very exclusive place. New families are not allowed in very easily. This stuff is all hundreds of years old. Most of the crypts in here date back before 1600, can you imagine?
How many people work here, exactly?
It's just me and Matthew, the janitor and handyman. He doesn't do anything but clean. He never even finds 5 minutes to chat.
Sai qualcosa di quei visitatori che sono nell'area delle
Do
cripte?
you know anything?
You mean that rude blonde in the company of that big dude? I believe they're hiding a secret.
Are you serious?
Of course. He's her
E
sexual
insulta
top
i
boy.
boy.
Hope not. Or we'd have to add incest to their substantial pile of sins.
Continua a esplorare questi luoghi
I'll keep
ameni.
exploring.
Always.
Pensavo che invece gli faceva quella cosa, il potere suo. Possiamo farlo? No.
A little
Cumulo
mound
di
of hot,
cenere.
crackling ashes has piled up at the foot of the guardhouse. How many cigarettes does this woman smoke?
Abbastanza fuma sta
I always get
donna.
the chills when I see one of these passing by on the road. I guess it's natural.
Vediamo lei cosa dice di queste cose qua.
It's probably just some silliness put there by children. Or a smartass. Surveillance
Telecamera.
camera. This one in particular looks defective and captures nothing. But there could be others. I
Potrebbero
could use them to
essercene
dig up information on our
altre.
enemies. I have to access the recordings.
Potrebbe essere utile questa cosa, sì. Ma se invece passiamo di qua, che succede? Se ne va via? Eh sì, non possiamo tornare al pub, perfetto. Quindi la croce invece che dici?
The gold covering of this cross would allow me to pay the rent for the rest of my life.
Beh sì.
Or buy a penthouse in Miami Beach for that matter.
E invece tu qualcosa nella cassetta di attrezzi
take
di
the
Wire
wire.
lo trovi? Il fil di ferro? Il fil di ferro, ok.
I've
Altro?
already taken everything.
Solo quello. Lapide?
Simple. I'd even say Spartan. Weird considering the standards of the Lyre.
Ok, non c'è altro. Oh, un perno, vedi, il perno non l'avevo
Without that wedge, the
visto.
tombstone would fall to the ground.
E falla cadere, chi se ne
No.
frega? No? Possiamo vedere anche la porta, se la possiamo
I can't
aprire.
enter this way as if nothing was happening. I first need to get the Undertaker to leave.
Dobbiamo allontanare il becchino.
Have you got a minute?
Non pensavo che i cimiteri fossero dotati di sistemi di sicurezza
I didn't
all'avanguardia.
think graveyards had such...
The King Lyre has many ancient tombstones, and some of them are crammed full of jewels or marble statues. A thief could acquire a real fortune in here.
Can I take a look at the video recordings from the last 2 days?
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't let anyone come in. However, I can come out if you like. We could talk about our dreams, about our hopes for the future.
I don't
Questa
have
vuole
much of
proprio
those.
compagnia sta
I'm
diva.
just an intern. Ex-intern, to be precise. Time's running out and I have to check those recordings. I need a way to get the Undertaker out of her guardhouse.
Sicura di non potermi fare da un'occhiata alle
Are you
registrazioni?
Absolutely.
I'll keep exploring.
Forse adesso se usiamo questo potere qua?
I don't think so.
Non pensa. Accumulo di cenere. Che famo? Forbici e fil di ferro. Cioè non è che abbiamo grandi cose, eh?
It's probably just some silliness.
Le forbici qui?
Not a great...
Non è una grande idea. Allora invece tornando di qua, con le forbici tagli la candela
I need to focus.
o le foglie,
No,
il fil di ferro sulla candela
I don't think so.
o sulle foglie.
I don't think so.
E se invece usiamo le forbici sul telo?
I need to focus.
E vaffanculo. I need to focus, però non è che c'è molto altro da fare onestamente.
A good, solid... Maybe it'd be better not to poke around. Better not tempt...
Non mi ci va. Fil di ferro sulla scala.
I don't think so.
Non penso.
I'll leave such little thefts to Lars.
Le foglie, adesso
Maybe
ci
I
fai
can use them
qualcosa?
somehow.
Dai, dai un po' di fuoco a ste foglie. Fammo il fumo e quella si sposta, no? Sulla candela.
No.
Come no? C'è stava tutto. Le foglie sul telo.
Not a great idea.
Sulla
I
scala.
need to focus.
E allora
I need to
legale.
focus.
E allora, ciao. Le foglie qui e facciamo tutto il fumo.
I don't really like this idea very much, but I have no
E
time
dai,
to take things easy.
Fire! Fire!
We need some water, quick.
There's a little fountain on the other side of the cemetery.
I have only a few minutes.
Ok.
I must hurry.
Allora, vediamo che possiamo vedere. Modo di
I
sorveglianza.
can't believe my eyes. This camera caught a sunny day in England.
Un giorno di sole in
Judging
Inghilterra.
by the description Lars gave me, that must be Father Carlo. Further proof we identified the right crypt.
Maledetto.
This camera is covered by something.
Coperto da qualcosa.
No, I didn't realize I was caught on camera. This distorting effect is horrible.
Beh, sì, sembra
That's why the
enorme.
camera at the entrance doesn't capture anything. It's broken. Here's our two henchmen arriving. What's the woman doing? Am I wrong, or is she... Of course, she's locking the car with the remote control. I can hear footsteps getting closer. Better scram. Just in time. So that red car is Mama's and Eugene's. I'm becoming a good detective.
Andiamo a vedere se c'è
Let's take a
qualcosa di
closer
utile. Vai.
Mama left the window slightly lowered. I'd call that a rare stroke of luck.
In teoria, quindi col filo di ferro dovresti riuscire ad
Old
aprire.
trick I saw in many movies with my dad.
Ottimo.
All right, I'm about to squeeze inside the car of a killer. No one in sight. It's make or break time.
Pupazzo
You have to be mentally
impiccato.
disturbed to hang a doll like this in your own car.
Scatola giocattolo.
These guys are sick.
Questi tizi sono malati. Vano
It's
porta
closed with a small lock.
oggetti. Ah, e questa è chiusa. Non chiude il vetro della macchina, però il vano porta oggetti sì.
The car is
Freno a
angled
mano.
downhill. Releasing the handbrake, it would roll away, probably to crush something. Seems like a valid plan to me. But before revealing it to Lars, I want to finish exploring the car.
Ok, finiamo di esplorare l'auto. Visiera.
Another
la
old
chiave.
film noir trick.
Quindi, chiave, vano porta oggetti.
My God,
Una
it's...
pistola.
I haven't held a gun since my years in the academy. Besides, knowing that someone might have been killed by this very one, I'd say I'm finished here. Better get back to the pub to explain my idea to Lars.
So you light the fuse, and then you run.
And are you sure this will cause enough of an explosion?
It depends on the gunpowder, but yes, it should blow the lock.
Lars, are you involving a stranger?
Involving in what? Good old Christian here was just helping me solve a little domestic problem.
It often happens. You install a nice armored front door to keep out the ill intention, but then you forget the keys in the house and you can't enter anymore. Fortunately, you didn't lower the anti-theft hook. Otherwise, even the dynamite wouldn't have been enough.
Dynamite?
Maybe that's an exaggeration. Just a little tiny charge.
Well, Christian, I really must thank you. If it weren't for you, I would probably be sleeping on a bench tonight.
It was nothing. Let's have a drink one of these nights.
Bah. So this is your plan?
I know it's crazy, but we must get in fast, even if you provide us with the best of diversions. Anyway, what's your status?
I identified Mama's car and managed to force my way in. The car's on a slope, so if I release the handbrake, it should loudly crash.
Alice, I did not expect that from you. Breaking into cars, creating plans to destroy another's property. I'm proud of you.
And now?
As
Sono fiera di
planned,
te.
give me time to manufacture an explosive. The most complicated part will be to find something that serves as a powerful detonator.
Something like this?
Infatti si, in mezzo agli altri.
You are the best assistant in the world.
Wrong, Lazarus Bundy. I'm not your assistant, remember?
You're right. So, wait for me here, partner.
Più che alleati.
So, are you single?
Oh, gosh.
The final madness of Lazarus Bundy was about to start. The main event, so to speak. The guy at the table had even scribbled down how to manufacture a handmade explosive stick.
Allora, vediamo l'appunto. Polvere da sparo. Yeah! Tappo. Miccia, let's rock. Contenitore cilindrico. Contenitore cilindrico è questo.
For my little project, I needed some gunpowder, so I removed the bullets from the weapon Alice gave me.
Ok,
I'd removed the
perfetto.
bullets from Mama's gun. I hope she didn't have a backup piece.
Questi possiamo
Good
mettere
idea.
qui.
But first I needed to extract the gunpowder.
Come lo apriamo?
I'd removed the bullets from Mama's gun. I hope she...
Li
I was all
apriamo.
out of ideas. No matter how hard I was all out.
Non so come
I thought it was
aprirlo.
Was it really worth...
È
Good
complicato.
idea. But
Allora, vediamo tanto se qui c'è qualcosa di utile. Il jukebox, bellissimo, lo voglio.
I always found old jukeboxes fascinating, but that one was so tacky.
Sembrava
It
una
almost
slot
looked like a
machine.
slot machine.
Di qua non si può. Quentin.
Hey there.
Can't you wait 8 minutes or so, damn it? I bet my monthly wage on this match.
I'll be quick, I promise.
Immagino tu sia pratico dei
I suppose
dintorni.
you're
Not much. I have everything I need right here.
So you don't know anything about the King Lyrie?
The cemetery. A dusty but ritzy
Che
place.
cosa?
You'd like it. Why don't you go right now?
I've already been there, actually.
Well, go back there and leave me alone once
Dice
and
basta
for
che
all.
te levi. Una volta ho lavorato in un
I worked in a
bar.
bar.
I'm not hiring.
Are you sure? I make amazing cocktails.
We don't serve cocktails here. This is a pub with dignity.
Vendi anche roba forte qua dentro?
Do you also sell...
Finally, you order something. I was starting to believe you were only here to make me miss the highlights.
nice whiskey, please.
Whiskey? Pah! You Americans really don't know how to enjoy things.
I'm not exactly American. What do you suggest?
The English nectar par excellence, of course. Gin, born in the Middle Ages as a medicine and surviving until today with the same identical role.
Is gin a medicine?
A medicine for the soul. Wait there.
Un po' discutibile come cosa.
Enjoy it. Feel its soft and warm caress sliding down your gullet.
Yeah, I'll let it breathe for a bit first.
It's £8.
Ma il denaro dove l'avevamo preso? Qui dentro è un po'
It's a bit
cubo.
dark around here.
You think so too? I was considering putting some 150-watt bulbs on the counterboard of the bar.
I was being ironic. This pub alone can enlighten the entire neighborhood.
England is a pretty rainy place, and I try to remedy that however I can, okay? Actually, you know what?
Putting it in my
Bicchiere.
coat was out of the question, but I could use it on the spot. And by using it, I didn't mean drink. I never liked gin.
Ok, quindi non ce lo possiamo portare appresso. E che ci famo mo col gin?
Although gin was flammable, it wouldn't be necessary as an ingredient for the explosive mix.
Ok, non era necessario per questo. Quindi per cosa serve? Vabbè, abbiamo una moneta anche, quindi ce l'ha spicciati, diciamo. Quentin
nothing
dice
else to
altro? No. E sto tipo qua, Christian?
He looked like the type of man that would tattoo his rings on your forehead if he was bothered. On closer inspection, I realized I'd already seen him. He was the
Pop, pop,
inventor
pop.
of the Pop Pop, the awesome firecracker that saved my life in Miami.
Ah sì? E di Alice mortaio.
I doubted Quentin would let me take it, but I could use it on the
Lo
spot.
possiamo utilizzare qui. Vabbè, lo usiamo come laboratorio praticamente.
The pestle for the mortar was made of wood, so not suitable to extract the gunpowder.
Dobbiamo trovare un qualcosa per estrarre il proiettile. Questo sicuramente lo usiamo come
Sometimes
tappo.
my obsession with
No?
using in that moment, it didn't. Alice was.
Cosa potremmo usare per aprire
I
il
thought it was better to look.
proiettile? Il
No
bracciale?
matter how hard I try.
No. Quindi al momento boh. Onestamente. C'è altro qui? Alimentatore. Perché io ho fregato l'alimentatore? Ah no, io l'ho attaccato, ok.
Alice was busy with her.
E mo che l'ho attaccato l'alimentatore che
I
cambia?
always found old jukebox.
Boh. Pistacchio. Mica l'avevo visto.
I couldn't believe what I saw.
Buoni.
Little delicious, intoxicating pistachio, and it was mine.
Pistachio.
All mine.
Col pistacchio
I
riusciamo a
thought it
aprire
was better
questo?
to look
Va bene, quindi direi che qui non penso possiamo fare altro. Schiaccia il pistacchio nel mortaio.
No matter how hard I tried.
No. Vabbè, damosela, poi vediamo. Vediamo se il becchino dice qualcos'altro.
No, that woman.
Era fastidiosa come una zanzara. Oh, e questo chi è? Addetta alla manutenzione.
Hey,
Do you need something?
I just wanted a word with you. I am Lazarus Bundy, and I come from Miami.
I'm Matthew, and I come from the dust.
What?
Oh, you know, from dust you have come and to dust you shall return. I was trying to stay in character, to make your visit to this cemetery more immersive.
You just gave me the chills.
Lavori da tanto all'Airi?
Worked at the library long.
Nah, I found this amazing job just a couple of months ago.
You're being sarcastic, right?
This is a cemetery reserved for nobles and aristocrats, with a minimum turnout of visitors. I pretend to clean, sometimes I sweep up a few leaves. A real godsend. The most complex task I have to deal with is the maintenance of the tombstones. You know, making the inscriptions, being sure they don't break, stuff like that.
But don't you feel a deep sense of
pare
responsibility
di no.
towards the people buried here?
Let's put it this way, none of my customers have ever complained about the service.
Che mi dici del
What
becchino?
can you tell me?
Oh, she's one of the plagues of Egypt. She'd be able to babble 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without interruption.
Ti lascio lavorare,
How do you,
se si può definire
do
così.
your work?
Vediamo, addetta alla manutenzione, la
Candle wax would be
candela.
useful to seal my explosive.
What are you
Ok.
doing?
I'm interested in this candle.
This isn't a souvenir shop. Oh, I can't believe people. He'd be interested.
Fine, I get it. I'll keep my hands to
Quindi
myself.
questo sta qua solo per rompere le palle, praticamente.
Sometimes
Non possiamo neanche raccattarla
I thought it was better to
questa cera, no? Scala, vediamo, lui ci sale,
Don't
Lazarus.
climb, mate. You could fall and break your head.
well, it's nice to see you worry about me.
I'm not worried about you. I'm worried for me. Do you know how much work it is digging a grave?
Ma tanto noi non siamo così ricchi, non penso ci seppelliscono qui,
The
no?
maintenance guy wouldn't let me get closer.
Ma c'è niente da fare, veramente, al 100%?
Over there, certain death awaited me at the hands of Mama or Eugene. I had made them both very angry.
Ok, quindi qua al momento mi sa che non possiamo fare altro. La cassetta degli attrezzi, c'è qualcosa di
Fortunately, it
utile?
was locked, and I couldn't see anything useful in the side compartment.
No, quindi pare di
I
no.
wondered if it was.
Cartello, sempre la stessa cosa, immagino di no. Ah sì.
The graveyard was equipped.
Allora direi andiamo nella macchina di sta cretina se mi ci fa andare. No, mi fa tornare qui da Alice. E quindi che dobbiamo fare? Dobbiamo riuscire a capire come aprire questi proiettili. Non è proprio semplice. Bicchiere.
Putting it in my coat was out of the question.
Potevo usarlo sul posto. Il
matter
pistacchio
how hard
nel
I-
bicchiere. La moneta nel
Was it
bicchiere.
really worth it?
I proiettili
The
nel
bolts were
bicchiere.
sufficiently explosive on their own.
Lo so che sono esplosivi, ma non riusciamo ad aprirli.
Although gin was flammable,
Non lo so.
I thought it was better to...
Non
Was
posso
it
aprirli
really?
così, no?
I'd remove the
Non c'è proprio modo di
I'd
aprirli
remove the
questi.
bullets from Mama's gun. I hope she did. I'd remove the bullets from...
Lo so che l'hai tolti i bullet. Qua abbiamo visto tutto. Ah, la macchina purtroppo non va. Il carro full. Il becchino non dice proprio nient'altro. Però forse tu il perno lo prendi.
No, I'd...
Prova un po' a prendere il perno.
As much as I was tempted to do that,
Non ho ragione per farlo.
that tombstone had to be a work in progress. It was Matthew who...
Quindi
That tombstone had to be a work in progress.
senza incisione era meglio occuparsene al momento nel Novecento se ne stava in pancioli dall'altra parte del cimitero. Dobbiamo fare in modo di spostarlo da lì. Dobbiamo attirarlo verso di qua. Non si può dire altro a sto cretino, vero?
I had nothing else to ask him.
Non avevamo altro da chiedergli. Dobbiamo trovare un modo per attirarlo. Come lo attiriamo? Non mi fa salire sulla scala, perché fino a che questo sta qui non possiamo fare niente. Quindi al momento, per forza di cose, dobbiamo fare qualcosa qui. Complicato. Croce.
I wondered if it was linked in any way to the Rosicrucian, but the lack of any iconography suggested the opposite.
La cassetta degli attrezzi non la apre. Non capisco perché non fa questa cosa della macchina, dato che l'ha detta prima. Con questo non parla, con Alice non parla, a Quentin non gli dice altro.
I had nothing else to ask him.
Dobbiamo schiacciare qualcosa qui nel mortaio. Però al pistacchio ho detto non me lo schiacci.
I thought it was better to look...
Non lo so. Polvere da sparo e basta aprire i proiettili. Il tappo potrebbe essere la moneta. Il contenitore è il manubrio della bicicletta. E la miccia... Vabbè, la miccia potrebbe essere anche qualcos'altro. Al momento mi sa non ce l'abbiamo. Va bene ragazzi, dai, per oggi direi che ci fermiamo qui, penso che ormai ci siamo, forse il prossimo sarà l'ultimo episodio, sempre se capiamo adesso che cosa fare perché non ne ho idea. Voi come sempre se volete datemi un suggerimento nei commenti, iscrivetevi al canale mi raccomando, mettete un bel mi piace e niente, vi aspetto al prossimo video allora. Alla prossima, ciao ciao!